Now the Champions League is back. Peak has returned. The season of trying to find multiple football streams so you can watch 2 games at once is back. Even though my Wi-Fi is awful, so both of them are buffering the entire time. And I'm talking about legal football streams. I am paying for these services. Now on Tuesday in the Champions League, we had some absolute blockbusters. Not block blasters, because that's a game that I like to play on the toilet. But there was some blockbusters with some big results and some heavy hitting games. So I've decided to give you guys the rundown. I'ma wake up early every single morning and talk about the games that happened yesterday. And even though when you'll be seeing this video it will be the next day evening, just respect the grind. So let's start this in Turin, where a game between black and white stripes would go up against yellow bananas. Now the first half of this game was an absolute snooze fest, with people actually falling asleep during the first 45 minutes. But when that second half came around, it was like the entire game just went into a different gear. Gear secondo. And in the 52nd minute, after a first half that was pretty much doo-doo, Nemecha would give the ball to Guirassy, and Guirassy would lay it off to Adeyemi, who would quickly burst forward and strike the ball low into the back of the net, breaking the deadlock on the night and setting the stadium in flames. Then we saw Juventus finally react with the man, the myth, the legend, Kenan Yildiz showing up and putting the ball in the back of the net. Yildiz has been Juventus' main guy this season, being involved in a lot of their best moments. And he's given the ball on the edge of the 18-yard box with too much time and space. And he just pulls out a finesse shot and puts it in the back of the net, making the game 1-1. But this game was far from over. And instantly after this Yildiz goal went in, Dortmund reacted. And this time it would be Adeyemi laying the ball off to Nemecha, who again finessed the ball into the back of the net. What's going on with the meta this year? Is the finesse shot overpowered? This is not a game, Jib. This is actually real life. And I can't lie, this goal was good. But let's not take away from the fact that Juventus' goalkeeper is absolutely doo-doo. He is the worst. Absolutely the worst of their modern era. I have never seen Juventus have a goalkeeper this bad, because not only did he flop this chance, but later in the game, you see him concede goals that you would never, associate with the main man at Juventus, because we've associated that position with the likes of Buffon, with the likes of even Szczesny. But this guy, Di Gregorio, get this guy out the team ASAP. And back to the action in the game. Even after shifting the momentum, Borussia Dortmund would be under fire instantly, with Vlahovic taking to the pitch after Jonathan David was subbed off, and he would make an instant impact with Kenan Yildiz threading a ball into his path and him just slotting it into the back of the net with ease, channeling in his prime Vlahovic from the days when he had hair. Then the 73rd minute comes around and a man called Yan Couto, who's been passed around by the likes of Manchester City, Dortmund and Girona, suddenly has the ball. He's driving towards goal, slips over the ball. Thuram does an absolutely awful job of just ushering him out of the area or even fouling him, gives the ball again back to Couto, and Couto gets the ball and says, you know what, let me have a strike. Strikes the ball near post to the Juventus goal, and Di Gregorio poo-poo head lets the ball into the back of the net, making it 3-2 to Dortmund, and again putting these Juventus heads down, because every time they fought back into this game, it was the defense and the goalkeeper that just let them down time and time again. And it happened again after this too, because in the 82nd minute Dortmund are threatening again. The ball eventually gets passed to Guirassy, who takes a shot, and Lloyd Kelly does one of the dumbest looking blocks I've ever seen. Doing some sort of break-dancing move on top of the ball, puts his hands out and just the ball hits his hands. It's a clear and obvious penalty. And then Ben Sabajani, the centre back of Borussia Dortmund, decides to have an argument with Guirassy because he wants to take the penalty. First of all, Guirassy actually got the penalty with the shot. Second of all, Guirassy is the main striker. Third of all, he's one of the most clutch penalty takers we've seen, with goals against Barcelona. And Ben Sabajani is a centre back and also the same guy that sold this time last year against Barcelona in the Champions League. And he overrules Guirassy's decision to take it, takes the penalty, and to be fair to him, it's an amazing penalty. But this would come back to bite him, because when stoppage time came around and all looked lost, there would be some hope sprinkled into this game. Because Bensebaini, trying to clear out the ball, decides to dribble, gives the ball away to Kalulu. Kalulu looks up, whips the ball low into the box, and Vlahovic is there. He's just made it 3-4 with about 3 minutes of stoppage time to go. And it would happen again with Juventus pulling off the comeback. With Vlahovic now being the one that is actually crossing the ball into the box, who else would it be than Lloyd Kelly, the man that was just playing for Bournemouth, just a couple seasons back. He's now headed it into the back of the net, making the game 4-4 and putting this game into an absolute frenzy. Juventus have managed to grab a point when all hope looked lost. An absolutely amazing game, a great performance from the likes of Vlahovic and Kenan Yildiz, and again, capitulation from Dortmund, but also capitulation from that Juventus backline because they were absolutely awful. Real Madrid would win 2-1 against Marseille, aka Prison FC, that are still actually playing Mason Greenwood on the pitch. This is crazy. In the Champions League nights, they're playing Mason Greenwood. Bro, I ain't highlighting your performance, man. You need to be highlighted behind cells. Early on in the game, Mbappe would threaten the Marseille defence, but Marseille were actually looking quite potent on the attacking front, with them actually striking first on the night, with Timothy Weah, son of George Weah, actually opening the scoring, silencing the Bernabeu and smashing the ball into the back of the net. And by the 28th minute, it was Rodrigo that drew a penalty that Mbappe would step up and bury. Then you'd see multiple opportunities with Arda Güler and Mbappe teaming up and trying to penetrate this Marseille back line. But by the second half, all would get too much for the likes of Carvajal. He could not put up with this Prison FC lineup and decided to headbutt the goalkeeper. You headbutted the wrong guy. Then in the 81st minute, Real Madrid are gifted a penalty with a handball that honestly was not a handball. But, I'd rather see Real Madrid get a handball and win the game than Prison FC get anything out of this entire tournament. And Mbappe would score the penalty and that would pretty much end the game. With Kylian honestly being the man of the match, and he is showing that this season he is locked in, ready for every single Real Madrid performance on the big stage, because he wants to show all the doubters that doubted him last season that they were wrong. As well as Real Madrid, we also saw Arsenal take a victory over Athletic Club in Spain. Early on in the match, it was like the atmosphere was just eating at these Arsenal players. They couldn't really string two passes together. The midfield wasn't able to unlock the pace of Madueke. Gyökeres got a head injury early that was actually inflicted by Gabriel, and Eze just wasn't getting the ball enough. The players were getting smothered and pressured time and time again by the Athletic Bilbao or Athletic Club players. But where Arsenal had depth, Athletic Club just could not keep up, with Martinelli and Trossard coming on and scoring the goals. Instantly, Martinelli is put in behind and just drives towards the goal and finishes. Then again, it's Martinelli on the left hand side and he does something that we haven't seen him do in months. Take on his man. He goes around his man and actually looks up and cuts the ball back to Trossard, who puts it into the back of the net, making it 2-0. And then after that, it was Arsenal just maintaining this and they secured the win. Next up, let's talk about Benfica losing to Karabakh. Early on in the game, it all looked like Benfica were going to win this comfortably, with Enzo scoring a goal from a corner. A glancing header thanks to a corner from Sudakov. And then Sudakov would be involved in the build up to the second goal, with him threading a ball through to Pavlidis, who on the turn just, puts the ball past the goalkeeper with a lovely side-footed finish. But then in the 30th minute of the game, the ball is bouncing in the box and it comes to Andrade, who powers it, smashes it, blasts it, ultimate ultra smash into the back of the net, making it 2-1 and giving these Karabakh players some hope. And after that, the momentum had just completely switched because Karabakh were on the attack time and time again, leveling the game up straight after half time. With the ball being slipped in behind, it would be Camilo Duran who put the ball into the back of the net. And then in the 86th minute, it will be Kashkuk linking up with Zubir and scoring the third goal. A late winner and a historic win for Karabakh. And it wouldn't just be Benfica that would be upset on the Tuesday night, because PSV would join them, losing 3-1 to Union Saint-Gilloise. I don't know how you pronounce that. Let me know in the comments below. But I'm going to just call them the Union. Yes, PSV would keep up with being mediocre in the Champions League, just like previous seasons. and USG would strike first via a penalty that was given away by the PSV players. And despite chances from the likes of Van Bommel to tie up the game at 1-0, they failed, and PSV would concede again, completing a dream first half for the Belgian side. And then in the 81st minute, it would be Kevin McAllister that just sealed the win, making it 3-0. Yes, Kevin McAllister, not the brother from Home Alone, this guy. And despite PSV getting a consolation goal, it would definitely not be enough. And finally, let's talk about the stinker of the night, which was Tottenham versus Villarreal. Because the only goal in the game would come in the 4th minute. With an early cross into the 6-yard box, the Villarreal goalkeeper would come out and, collect it. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't collect it. Somehow, he would turn into prime Almunia. The ball would go under him and he would just put it in the back of his own net. Bro, did this guy get a shady deal before this game started? A shady guy offered him $10 to do this. And after that, this game would be absolutely dead. Villarreal's main kind of attacking threat on the night would be Nicolas Pepe, who again just failed to deliver a goal. He had about 3 big opportunities, including a free kick and multiple, cut in and shoot chances, but failed to dispatch any of them. And on a different day, they would be going in and Tottenham would have lost. But no, thanks to an own goal, they took the 3 points, and realistically, that's all that matters. Now with Tuesday's fixtures done, we go into a Wednesday that has some even bigger games. So if you guys like this Tuesday recap of all the games, let me know by liking the video and I'll do it again for Wednesday. But that video will come out on Thursday night, and then I'll do the Thursday games and it'll come up on Friday night. Let me know by leaving a like, comment, and also subscribing to the channel. And I'm going to be in the sweatshop for the foreseeable future of this week. So if this comes out on the 17th and you see it on this date, I did it. Of course, this has been Jib Rules as always. Stay safe, stay blessed, and peace.